Hello YouTube, I'm slyelessar. I thought I'd give you some useful tips and tricks for street photography. I'm a London street photographer, if you didn't know too much about me. I'm out there every week on the streets of London, out taking shots. Anyway, enough of that crap and let's move on to the good stuff. So now most street photographers will tell you that being smiley, friendly, is a good approach when on the streets. And the reason they say that is because it's all true. So the reason it's true is you really connect with people, and it's by far the best approach. But for perhaps more introverted people starting out mostly is what this is aimed for. If you've already been doing street photography for years, why are you watching this video? So yeah, let's get straight on to it. So I'm going to split this into a couple of sections. I'll be jumping back and forth between film and digital because you could be doing either or. Candid shots in crowds. So for this sort of thing, you're going to want to have, this can sound really counterintuitive for those people that know me, autofocus on. Turn your LCD screens off. For the love of God, turn your LCD screens off. Don't chimp, and certainly don't, if your LCD screen is on, you're certainly going to draw attention to yourself. If someone sees you taking a shot, or they see you walking around and you're just casually doing this and clicking and taking shots, and your LCD screen's on, people are going to notice that you're doing that. Lens cap off. Now, this, for someone starting, that might sound odd, but when I go out for a shoot, I take the lens cap off, and then I don't put it back on until I've stopped shooting entirely. I might clean my lens now and again with a lens cloth or a lens pen. It's a bit different with the Ricoh, because the Ricoh doesn't have a lens cap, so I walk around with the lens exposed most of the time, and the reason behind that is you're ready to take a shot. Leave your camera on, take the lens cap off, and just walk around. So when a moment comes up, click or click, and you've got it. You know, that's an important one. People, you fail to think how long it takes to go, oh, and you missed it. You've missed it. You know, so. Lens cap off, people. So, shooting candid shots in crowds. The thought process behind this is fairly simple. You're taking completely candid shots without drawing attention to yourself. Or certainly not drawing attention to yourself before you click or during the click. So I've developed, I use a technique that I sort of started using myself. No one else has mentioned this on the internet. I'm sure people do it. But this is me telling you now. For close quarters, markets, certainly Borough Market, Camden, in the stables, anywhere where you're going to be shoulder to shoulder with people, really close to people. And again, you're going to need your lens cap off, your LCD off, and if your camera has a silent mode, if it's mirrorless, turn the click off. Just entirely turn the click off. So yes, the close quarters shoulder to shoulder technique is thus. I'm walking, I should have got someone else for this demonstration. You're walking shoulder to people. Naturally, when you're in markets and things like that, people carry bags, they carry food, they carry cameras, they carry whatever. And naturally, you raise it up to move around and get around people. Someone's walking past, click, got their shot. This close, no shit, candid, they don't hear it. Same thing, you bring it up, you're walking past, you're coming through people, sorry mate, click as you're going by. Candid shots, street shots, portrait shots, you do need to be aware of the background. Sky can actually be quite handy for a background, certainly if you're shooting black and white, because you've got the white background and the complete image of someone's face. Obviously if you're shooting into the sun, you're not going to have a clear shot. It's going to be harder to retain the details in the shadows, but you will get their entire face in the frame. I mean, it takes a bit of practice to get it all perfectly in the frame, but this is a fantastic way of going out there and taking candid shots very close, especially with a wide angle lens. It's fantastic. So you would use that close quarters shoulder to shoulder, adjusting my strap as I'm walking past, to take a candid shot. You know, it takes a bit of practice, but it's worth attempting. go and give it a shot. Seriously, go and give it a shot. It's worth it. Shooting from the hip. Shooting from the hip is, or from lower down is, it's an extremely important technique for street photography. Learning to get good shots from the hip. So you will have some cameras that have a fold-out LCD screen. You can look down like a Hasselblad type thing. Some of the Fujis have them, and other cameras have swivel LCDs. However, if you want to remain completely anonymous, because someone looking down at their camera like this as they're walking around people is going to draw attention. If you practice keeping your camera extremely straight, oh, you fell over, shooting from about here, from the hip, from the chest area. So even if it was hanging, say my arms at my side, it's hard to do because I'm sitting down and I'm just like that, walking along. It's the same technique. In fact, I'm going to put a picture up on the screen of, I'm going to give you two. Here's the first one. Okay, so this is what it looks like when you shoot from the hip. You get the whole environment, or enough of the environment to tell a story, and then you get enough of the person in to also, enough of the subjects in to just give you what's in there. And here is another one. Now, this is me walking around shooting from the hip. Just crossed the road, I'm walking on the path. Someone's opened a taxi door, black London cab door, without looking where they're going, nearly hitting me. So that's, you're with the Ricoh GR2 with the wide angle lens, almost hitting the camera out of my hand. The camera's already on, it's already ready to take a shot, and it's at my hip, and I get the click just before she noticed she nearly hit me. And that is the kind of moment, and that is the kind of thing that you shoot from the hip for. It may not be an amazing photograph, but it's an honest photograph of a good moment, you know, an accident waiting to happen. Another technique is ask. So it's always a controversial topic among street photographers. I would say 95 to 98% of my shooting is candid, but sometimes I will ask. And when I will ask, there's nothing wrong with asking. And people, you get people on either side of the fence, or people balancing on top of the fence, and you've got people that just don't care. But to be honest, at the end of the day, you're after good shots. You're not after going, well, I asked him or not. A lot of people won't even know if you've asked someone or not. You can't always tell from looking at a photograph. So that would be complete bullshit. So examples of when I've done this: someone vaping, smoking, when you get all that really cool vapor and smoke in unusual ways around someone, or they're blowing it out and making shapes. That's when you do it. That's when I do it. When I see something unique, someone unique, if they're dressed uniquely, and I can't get a candid shot of them because of the way they're walking or the background or anything, I'll go up to them and say, look, I really like you, your hat's really cool, or your tattoos are epic, can I get a close-up shot of your tattoos, stuff like that. It's not about going up and asking everyone. It's about knowing when to ask. When is it appropriate to be candid? When is it appropriate to ask? And that's something you feel out. It's something you just learn from experience over time. Dutch angles make your photography interesting. You will actually get quite a few of those if you do shoot from the hip or lower down, or if you shoot from higher up. It just, at an angle, it just tends to happen. They're very useful for several reasons. Not only do they add an element of abstractness, so you will have streets, buildings, things like that leading across in diagonal lines or in leading lines towards somewhere. But so you'd use them as leading lines essentially, or that's how they tend to come out. Be open to this technique. Be aware that it can be done tastefully or horrendously, or it's clearly an accident that's gone wrong and someone's tried to adjust their picture and it's just not worked. Give it a shot. So the other thing is getting into the rhythm, and a lot of people like to refer to it as the zone. I like to call it rhythm. Musical background, hello. I call it a rhythm because I sort of warm up. I'll take a couple of shots here or there, and then I'll just get into a flow of doing it, a rhythm of doing it. Seeing it, there's a moment, capture it, done it. Got another one, capture it. So that's something that you just need to shoot, and you get into a rhythm, and it's fairly normal to be put off if you're new and you take one shot, two shots, maybe you've got a candid and the adrenaline's pumping. Keep shooting, don't stop shooting. Keep that rhythm going, and I promise you will get some great shots.